with the In 1720, a farm was purchased by John Adams Sr. in Braintree, Massachusetts. He was only 29. Since childhood, he always worked hard to make a living by carrying many different jobs. He was a cobbler, a shoemaker, and now he wanted to try his hand in farming. Being outdoors and working with the earth is something he took great pride in. He saw the farm as something as being a provider for his family, and just as important, being a provider for the local townspeople. He was known to the locals as being a kind, humble, and he would give the shirt off his back to anyone. He loved talking and getting to know people on a real personal level. He loved their stories and their personalities. He had a great talent of remembering names. He thought if I could only hold on to their names the next time I see them, they will be delighted with happiness that I took pride in remembering it. John Adams Sr. was a religious man and believed that he wouldn't have the joyous life he did if it wasn't for his God. He and his wife Susanna always referred to their work as being the Lord's work, and that everything that they have was all due because of their mighty Creator. John Adams Sr. became a deacon in their church, and from that moment on, he was referred to only as Deacon John. John Sr. was a great communicator, but more importantly, he was a great listener. The townspeople always knew who to go to if they needed someone to talk to, and John Sr. was always willing to listen. He loved his wife Susanna more than life itself, and together they would have 9 children. Of the 9 children, one seemed to be a spitting image of John himself, and that was his own son, John. John, from a very young age, was smart, compassionate, and would talk your ear off at any chance that you would give him. You could always find John Jr. besides a candle with a book in his hand. He loved to read and learn about anything and everything. He could interpret the stories of which he read in a way that would make you feel as though you were there yourself. His father, John Sr., knew that his son could be anything he wanted. John Sr., however, so badly wanted his son to become a preacher because of his commanding voice and sense of knowledge of the Bible. John Jr., though, had no ambitions of becoming a preacher. Instead, John wanted to be a lawyer. He didn't want to let his father down by not becoming a great preacher, but to his surprise, when he approached his father with the news of wanting to become a lawyer, John Sr. lit up and said, "I'm proud of you, my son." John Sr. didn't show any hostility to the fact that his son chose a different route, even though in the back of his head, he was probably slightly disappointed. John Sr. told his son that I will do anything in my power to help you to achieve your goal. And that's exactly what he did. When John Jr. got accepted into Harvard Law School in 1751, his father sold off 10 acres of their land to help pay for his education. John Jr. loved and respected his father so much before this wonderful gift was given, but now said, I truly could never love him more. John Sr. supported his son through all of his college days, sending him letters to show how proud of him he was, and reminding him that no dream is too big. John Jr. graduated college and landed his first job as being the lawyer. The first case that John was dealt and put in front of him, he lost. He felt helpless and discouraged, but after a quick, uplifting visit with his father, he had the courage to fight on. In May of 1761, John Jr. received devastating news that his father was deathly ill, and on May 25th, 1761, his father had passed away from influenza. John Jr. was crushed after the passing of his father, but from that point on, everyone that he ran into, he would tell the wonderful stories about his father to anyone who would listen. John Jr. wanted to keep his father's memory alive, so he bought the 53-acre farm after his mother remarried. John Jr. devoted his whole life to making his father proud and fighting for liberty. John Adams Jr. would go on to become an American patriot, founding father, and the second president of the United States. He said he achieved such great heights with his steadfast studies, his forgiving God, and the love of his father. He promised to instill the traits that his father possessed onto him, onto his own children. And that's exactly what he did. John Adams Jr. raised, loved, and encouraged his son, John Quincy Adams, who then went on to become an American statesman, United States Senator, member of the House of Representatives, and the 6th President of the United States. All this just goes to show that a father's love unlocks all sorts of potential.